Welcome to Health Talk. I'm Dr. Manny. Gerri Willis has been a prized part of the Fox News and Fox Business team for many years. She has always put the viewer first and never made herself part of the story. That was until she was diagnosed with breast cancer. Gerri bravely told her story with the intent to inform viewers and hopefully save lives. Now, less than a month after her last treatment, she's here to tell us how she's doing and offer some words of advice for people who are facing the diagnosis. Welcome.
Thank you.
A great honor, my
Thank
dear
you, Dr.
friend,
Manny.
my dear friend, my dear
It's great
friend.
to be
God
here.
bless you and everything that comes with it.
Love that.
Let's talk about the cancer. When were you diagnosed and how was it diagnosed?
About 9 months ago, I found it myself, lobular breast cancer. So that's a little different from what most people have, right? Most people have a different kind. It's easier to spot. Lobular is hard for a mammogram to find.
Right,
and in
very
fact, 6 months before I was diagnosed, I went for a mammogram that was negative.
I guess you went to see your primary care doctor first?
I did, and here's what happened. So she, takes a look and stops, and she says, "You've got to go get this checked out." And I said, "Okay, well, next Tuesday looks good to me." And she says, no, not next Tuesday, right now.
Yeah.
You are going to the hospital right now.
Right.
And I had the biopsy. And I could tell from the women who were working with me that it was not good news. You have that sense, even though they're not telling you that.
Yeah.
So I was shocked because we don't really have breast cancer in my family. I didn't realize that most people don't. It's not necessarily something you inherit. I set about to put together some kind of plan for treatment.
So in my recap at the end, so point one, your experience was about the empowering of your physician to get you the help you needed, which a lot of women, you get that disconnect.
No, she's lovely.
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
she's a great doctor.
She's a great doctor and she's wonderful. However, when my test came back, this is funny, she told me, "Gerri, your tests are positive." I'm like, "What?
Yeah.
What are you? You mean my breast cancer tests are positive? Are you telling me I have breast cancer?"
Right.
And she said yes, but she couldn't say it. But the reason I'm here today, Dr. Manny, and what I really want to tell people is, if you're afraid of getting that test, if you were worried about getting tested, don't be. The experience can be very, very different than what you expect. For me, it was transformative on a personal level, on an emotional level, but in a good way, in a positive way.
How did you treat it? How did you treat the breast cancer?
Well, there was a lot of treatment. Mastectomy. Then I had 4 months of chemo, the Red Devil, Taxol, every other week, 8 treatments over 4 months. Then I had breast reconstruction, and then that's the happy part of the story. And then, and then I had radiation, 5 weeks daily radiation.
Right.
So it took a long time, and that's what a lot of people don't understand when they're going into this. Surviving the treatment is the big thing, and getting through it and keeping your spirits up, because I believe having a positive attitude really affects your outcome. And I was helped in that by my family, by my husband. It was really, this is just going to sound weird, but in some ways it was a blessing because I was able to reconnect with family. My husband and I are closer than we've ever been.
Right.
We have a home up in the Berkshires. We were outside in nature all the time. It was really a turnaround for me from just complete obsession about work all the time.
So let's talk about the lessons. Because you're lucky and you got the right treatment and you got the right doctors and you got the right family and friends. Lessons learned, okay?
Yes.
One of the things you said at the beginning was, well, I had a mammogram 6 months prior and it was negative. And look what happened to me. A lot of young people, a lot of people are going to ask you, hey, Gerri, what's the story of mammogram? What do you think about it?
I'm not sold on mammograms.
There you go. I'll give it back. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I feel like you need to do something more intensive than that because obviously I wasn't diagnosed with that. And let me tell you, I felt something even then. But that was the news I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear you're okay.
Right. Because I think that the technology, we have been fascinated by mammogram, and there's a lot of controversy. What age should you start mammogram? Is it 40? Is it 35?
Not at 50.
Not at 50. Right, exactly.
Come on.
And there are risk factors, and we're learning more about genomics and you know, things like that. But there's new technologies that are coming, like MRI, breast MRI.
Why not? Why not?
Exactly. But so okay, so you learned that lesson. The second lesson you learned was?
So my fundamental error early on was that I was so scared of this diagnosis that I could only look at the finish line. That's the only thing I was interested in talking about, because I wanted to go back to being me, to normal. Well, I was never going back to normal. It was going to be different, right? My life was going to be different. Even now, I'm at the beginning of the story, not at the end of the story, right? So I believe that you have to be involved as the patient. You have to be involved in what you're doing moment to moment, day to day, understanding what's going on. Let me tell you when I finally figured this out. I was in chemo, last day of the Red Devil. I had 4 treatments of that. It's very tough, as you know, right?
Yep.
And they couldn't get the needle in because my veins were collapsing.
Yeah.
So I freaked out. I was nervous, I was anxious, and that made it harder for them. And then suddenly across my brain pan, I got a very smart notion. It was this could either be the worst day of your treatment or the best. It's really up to you. So what I did was I relaxed, I sat back, I helped them.
Right.
And the next needle went in, and that was my last Red Devil treatment. And from there, I was on board with everybody. You know what I mean? I was figuring out how to help, what I could do, and that made things go so much better.
What are you doing aside from these interviews? You know, where can people get more information? I know you're talking, you're blogging, you're tweeting, you're doing all these types of things.
Right. I've been doing a lot of that, but I have several columns that are on the Fox News opinion page.
Okay.
Google my name. And the one I'm proudest of is called Surprised by Joy.
Right.
And that tells you about the mental journey, the tough road you go through, and how to survive that. You know, look, not everybody's journey is the same as mine. Some people have tougher situations, but I was able to come out on top, and not in small part to the wonderful doctors at Memorial Sloan Kettering.
Right, a great institution.
A great institution, but also because I was helping too. And I think people should know about the importance of that, about the patient being involved and working towards the same goals.
All right. Well, listen, you're the queen bee. You're the queen bee. I love it. I love it. And it's an important story. And I hope that, of course, your journey is going to be very bright. And a lot of people are going to learn a lot from your story and get inspired. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. You know, become a fighter. Knock it down, baby. Knock it down. That's the ticket. Thank you so much for being here again.
You're welcome.
And if you have any health questions, tweet me at Dr. Manny on Fox. Until next time, I'm Dr. Manny.